Hey, RezaieStrong followers. So, do weekend warrior workouts actually work? So, what do I mean by weekend warrior workout? So, I have weeks sometimes where I am just so busy that all I get in are a couple days of working out, and I always feel guilty about it. And I always wonder, am I actually like making any kind of benefit for myself? And I came across this paper that I thought was pretty fascinating to talk about the weekend warrior workout. It was titled Accelerometer Derived Weekend Warrior Physical Activity and Incident Cardiovascular Disease. It was published in JAMA 2023 just this past week. And they defined moderate to vigorous exercise as walking, elliptical, running, cycling. These sorts of activities is what they defined as moderate to vigorous exercise. Now, the World Health Organization and the American Heart Association, their recommendation is that most adults should be working out 150 minutes per week or greater. But they don't specify what's the optimal schedule to do that. In other words, would it be as helpful to do it as a weekend warrior, or should we be spreading it out over the week? And so that's basically the question they were trying to answer. Does moderate to vigorous physical activity greater than or equal to 150 minutes per week, concentrated within 1 to 2 days, what they called a weekend warrior, or evenly distributed within 7 days, regular activity, have similar cardiovascular benefits when compared to inactivity, which they defined as less than 150 minutes per week? So here's what they did. They used this exercise watch. It's called an accelerometer, but essentially an accelerometer just tells you how fast you're moving. And that's how they determined how fast these people were doing activity over 1 week's time. Now, a weekend warrior was defined as doing greater than 150 minutes per week, but over 50% of that 150 minutes was done in 1 to 2 days. Regular activity was that you also achieved that greater than 150 minutes per week, but less than 50% was done in the 1 to 2 days. And then inactivity was less than 150 minutes per week. And they were trying to see if there was any association with reduction or increase in atrial fibrillation, acute myocardial infarction or heart attacks, congestive heart failure, and ischemic strokes. Now, who was included in this study? It was a big paper. It was 90,000 adults from the United Kingdom, and they followed them up on average close to 6 years. It was actually 6.3 if you read the paper. Now, it turns out a lot of people in the UK are weekend warriors. 42% of them in this study were weekend warriors. 24% kind of spread their activity out throughout the week, and then there was another third of people that were just inactive, that less than 150 minutes per week. Here's what they ended up finding is that physical activity, whether you were weekend warrior or you spread it out over the week, was equal in terms of reducing risk of cardiovascular diseases compared to inactivity. So it turns out that weekend warrior is just as good as spreading it out over the week in terms of reducing your risk of having these bad things happen to you. Now, my one problem with this paper is that they only measured activity over 1 week and then they extrapolated that over time. And there's this concept called the Hawthorne effect, which is we alter our behavior when we're aware that we're being observed. And so that 1 week that these people knew they were being observed, is that the same way they were working out every week for that full 6 years? Or was that just one optimal week and then it was completely different the rest of the time? And so was the same weekly distribution of exercise carried out every week? Because I can tell you for myself, I have weeks that I'm busy and all I can do is the weekend warrior workout. And I have other weeks where I'm less busy and I'm able to spread it throughout the week. So here's what I'm going to tell you is what I take away from this paper. And I think it's a positive note. Weekend warrior pattern of exercise is very common. Lots of people do it. And for me, the bottom line is activity, any activity is going to always be better than no activity. And it turns out, based on this large study, that physical activity, regardless of whether you do it mostly over the weekend or you spread it over the week, reduces your risk of having these bad things happen like atrial fibrillation, heart attacks, congestive heart failure, and stroke compared to inactivity. So there you have it. Do weekend warrior workouts work? It looks like they do. Let me know your thoughts, comments, and questions. Thanks for tuning in, and until next time.